What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Horror, this is Ethan Horror, and today we are back with another Walking Dead ranking. I know I said the next Walking Dead ranking was going to be my top 25 characters, but that's going to take a little bit more time. So we're going to do my top 10 favorite episodes of The Walking Dead. Now, this was a hard list to make because there are a lot of great episodes, and a lot of them are going to be episode 16 or episode 1 of a season because, you know, they do a really good job at making you want to come back to watch more of the show. So those, just expect a lot of those. And otherwise, I mean, it's just my favorites, not necessarily the best episodes, just the ones that I enjoy the most. And yes, I know.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! This is God.
Coming in at number 10, my 10th favorite episode of The Walking Dead is Season 4, Episode 16A. I'm not sure why it's called A, but it is. So basically this episode is the season finale of Season 4. So it needs to go off on a bang, and it does. It finally has the confrontation of Joe and the Claimers and Rick, Carl, and Michonne, and they meet up and they fight, which I gotta say, one of the best scenes in the entire show when Rick just goes feral and bites out Joe's throat. That's one of my favorite moments from the show, period. So obviously that helps it a lot because I think that is like one of my that's probably my favorite Rick moment. Otherwise, they massacre the Claimers, and then they move on to go to Terminus. And eventually they do make it. And I think in the previous episode, the rest of the groups had made it to Terminus. And when they get there, you start, like, everything seems alright. But then you slowly start to realize that, like, it's not as it seems. And then Rick eventually notices that, like, they have Maggie's poncho and Herschel's pocket watch, so like they have their friends and they took their stuff. So he pulls a gun and then they all snap, and it is super scary the way that the Terminus cannibals just go crazy, and like they aren't even like just outright like screaming. They remain so calm that it's terrifying. And then you just watch all of your favorite characters get loaded into these containers, like big shipping containers, and then it ends. So it ends on a cliffhanger, and I really liked what this episode did. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the send-off episode of Rick Grimes, What Comes After, Season 9, Episode 5. Now, I believe he gets injured in the previous episode, so it cuts away and it cuts back, and he's hallucinating, and you get to see all these characters that we haven't seen in a while. You get to see Shane and Sasha and Herschel as these hallucinations, like, talking to him, which was really good to, you know, have those cameos come back, and, I think it's a great send-off episode for Rick. It's not much of a story episode, more like a conclusion for Rick Grimes, and that is why I like it. Because coming in at number 8 is going to be Season 1, Episode 2, Guts. This is a great episode, not only because it's one of the first, but because it follows up that incredible first episode so well with, you know, Rick's in the tank, and then him, and then Glenn comes and saves him, and then they go back, and you meet Andrea. I forget who else is with him. I think Jackie, T-Dog, and Merle are all with him, I believe. Good, because these are introducing us to some great characters. Glenn, one of the best. And then they use the guts to escape through the city, which is something that you'll see used all the time throughout the show. So this is where it originated from and got the name Guts, because they used walker guts and they create just gut ponchos, and they are able to walk through the horde pretty well. Otherwise, you get Merle, who's only in this one episode of the first season, where Rick handcuffs him to the roof, and then T-Dog comes back or he goes to leave, and he accidentally drops the key down the storm drain, and Merle is stuck, leaving us with a later conflict. Coming in at number 7 is going to be... Wait, which one is it? Is going to be Season 4, Episode 8. So the mid-season finale of Season 4. Now, I don't like where this episode is placed in the season, because for some reason they decide to bring back the governor just for like a couple solo episodes and then this episode. But it's still a great episode. If it was placed a little bit better, it would be perfect. But so he captures Herschel and Michonne, and he comes back to the prison, and he threatens to kill one of them or both. And then he ends up, after Rick tries to talk him down, and you think that he actually did talk him down, he unfortunately, spoiler warning, kills Herschel, and that is devastating because he is one of the best characters in the early seasons of The Walking Dead, and especially in Season 4, he built himself up as such a great character. And, then Governor kills him, decapitates him. But then I think Lily comes out and and then he notices that Megan, the little girl, has died. But they start a war in the prison, causing the prison to be overrun by walkers and everyone to have to split up and go their separate ways. There's a few groups that join up: Tyrese, Carol, Mika, Lizzie, and Judith, and Sasha, Bob, Maggie. Like a lot of just different groups. I think Daryl and Beth are definitely the best, but this is a great episode of The Walking Dead, regardless of where it's placed. If it was placed better, again, it would be perfect, but it's still a great episode. Coming in at number 6, I have Season 2, Episode 12, Better Angels. This episode is not the season finale, but it is the second to last episode of Season 2. I do like the season finale. I just didn't think it was as good of an episode as this one was. I think it takes place directly after Dale dies, who's a great character, and you can tell it hurts the group. But this is when Shane finally takes initiative and tries to kill Rick. He ends up killing Randall, and he gets reanimated, even though Randall didn't get bit, which is a great kind of like, we don't know what's going on as the audience if you haven't read the comics. And then you get to the huge standoff with Shane and Rick, and Rick shooting Shane, and I think that whole scene where they're talking back and forth is absolutely incredible. And then to top it off with the reveal that you don't have to get bit to come back, oh my god, it's a great episode. And starting off our top 5, we have The Day Will Come When You Won't Be, Season 7, Episode 1. The first couple episodes we get with Negan are absolutely incredible. These first 2 episodes, you'll see the other one a little bit higher, are great. This one is the one that kicks off Season 7, and with the reveal of who got hit with the baseball bat. And it reveals that Abraham was selected, and if you guys have read the comics, you would be like, oh my god, that means Glenn made it. And that's what even if you haven't, you're just like, oh my god, Abraham died? Like, that sucks. That really sucks, because he's a great character. But it was only him, and he didn't kill anybody else. And then you get the reveal that Daryl tried to attack Negan, and Glenn got the baseball bat as well. So we lose two of the best characters from the early seasons of The Walking Dead at the same time, and that sucks. But the way that it's kind of stretched out over the entire episode, where Negan takes Rick and brings him to the RV, and he like brings him out in the horde, and all of that is great, and you just kind of slowly peel it back until you eventually get who it is. And then we get another great scene with possibly the greatest acting that Andrew Lincoln ever did for the show, when he is told to cut off Carl's hand. And he starts crying. He doesn't want to, but then Negan doesn't make him, and he just wanted to make sure that Rick was going to do what he said. And this makes for one of the best episodes this show has ever given us. Coming in at number 4 is going to be episode 4 of season 3, Killer Within. This is a great episode, in that it marks the end of one great character, one character who has a great death scene. Lori and T-Dog both meet their ends in this episode, and it sucks because T-Dog, it's overshadowed by Lori's death, but he was a great character, one of my favorites of like the few seasons that he's in. And he realizes he gets bit and then sacrifices himself to save Carol, so he dies a great death. And then you get the double up on Lori's death, where Maggie has to help her to get the baby, and then it ends with Carl having to kill his mom. And this all happened because the prisoners, one of them that Rick left for dead, came back in, set off the alarm, and got walkers to flood the prison. But in the end, one of the other prisoners, I think Oscar, shoots him and, proves their allegiance. Coming in at number 3, yeah, we're in our top 3 already. Season 9, episode 15, The Calm Before. This episode should have been the season finale, because boy, would that have been a note to end on. God, this episode is just a kick straight in the gut. This is, God, that reveal of the heads just leaves you just, because, I've never read the comic book, so I didn't know that this was happening, but this, the reveals, it's so slow and drawn out when it's like, oh, where's so-and-so? Oh, cut to their head. That's so messed up. And it is done so well, as each time you kind of care about them a little bit more. It's like Ozzy, Alec, and DJ, I think, are the first 3. Don't really care about them very much. Then it gets to Frankie, who we learned to like from the last couple seasons. Then to Tammy, who we've learned to like in this season. And then Rodney and Addie, which I guess they don't really matter. And then it gets to the real kickers, Enid, Tara, and Henry. Enid, probably the death that hurt the most out of those 3, for me at least. Maybe it was Tara for some other people. Yeah, Alden starts to realize Enid's not there. Cut to her head. It's so messed up, and it's so dark, because they just keep going. You're like, oh my god, they killed Enid, and then it cuts to Eugene or someone being like, yo, where's Tara? And you're like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Tara too? And then obviously you think that would be the end, and then they kill Henry as well, which kind of was an annoying kid, but I did like him a little bit. In season 9, he makes some very stupid decisions, but seeing Lydia's reaction to it definitely hurt a little bit more, and I do think that this should have been the finale of season 9, but instead they tack on some useless episode that doesn't even have any effect on it. Coming in at number 2, you knew this episode was going to be up towards the top. Season 6, episode 16, Last Day on Earth. wow, this is how you introduce a villain in a TV show. This is how you do it. In the unrated cut, Negan swears so much, like it's practically every word. But either cut you watch, they are great, and you just you think that the characters are gonna defeat the saviors because that one guy said he was Negan. He's not Negan, and it turns out they all say that they're Negan. And then you meet actual Negan, and he is terrifying. He is menacing. And you think Eugene's gonna go, and then all of a sudden he's back in the lineup too, and everyone's on their knees. All these characters that you love, one of them is gonna meet their end by eeny, meeny, miny, mo. One of the greatest cliffhangers in TV show history. Need I say more? Take a guess at what you think my number one's gonna be, because I bet you it's right. My number one episode is Season 1, Episode 1, Days Gone By. Oh my god, talk about an incredible start to a series. That is how you do it. This is the greatest episode the show will ever give us. Introduces us to the greatest character in the show, Rick Grimes. At least for me, he's my favorite. And he wakes up from a coma in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. That premise alone is horrifying. Like, possibly one of the scariest things I could possibly think of. And he walks out in the street, terrified, and then eventually Morgan takes him in, and you get the whole thing with his wife. He's struggling. He doesn't want to kill the walkerized version of her. And you meet Dwayne, and then eventually he gets a horse, and Morgan helps him get the guns from the police station, and he is walking down that road on the horse in one of the most iconic shots of the series. And he goes into that city, he's overrun by walkers, his horse is killed, and he is trapped in the tank. And then we get one of the best lines, "Hey asshole," which is absolutely, just hearing that for the first time is something that I would love to just go back in time and hear that for the first time. I would do anything. This is by far the best episode of the show. So that's my list. Comment down below if you agree, disagree. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit like so you want to see more videos like it. Otherwise, if you like The Walking Dead or horror movie content, go down and click subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post any brand new videos. If you don't want to subscribe, just click on my channel. If you're a horror fan, there will be another video in there that you'll enjoy, I can assure you. And until next time, comment down below some more video ideas, because I am running out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.